Thank you, Lynn. I am so excited to be here to talk about this revolutionary detox products that we now have in Restoriix. Not only is the combination of these pristinely sourced ingredients completely unique, but the synergy of having them all come together in this one scoop wonder, I can tell you is an incredible value. I have used all of these ingredients separately as part of a healthy lifestyle for over 10 years now, and buying them individually would be hundreds of dollars. This product is not only really exciting to think about the power that it has to give people the opportunity to take back their health, but it's also pulled together at an incredible value. So I'm really excited today to talk about detoxing and how and why Restoriix was created. Detoxing is a subject that is very personal to me. 10 years ago, I was suffering the consequences of severe heavy metal poisoning. That was an environmental contamination. I found out 2 years after we had our sprinkler system installed that it was improperly applied, and it was allowing all of the fertilizer from our lawn, which was the most beautiful grass in the neighborhood, but all those toxins, heavy metals from the bag of fertilizer were actually coming into our incoming water supply line, and I suffered brain damage that made speech very difficult. I hardly spoke more than 5 words for about a 6-week period of time. My skin was just pouring out with toxins because it was such an overload. I could not excrete these things through my normal digestive tract, which is how we normally get rid of toxins that we take in. And I was exhausted. I couldn't walk for more than a few feet without fainting, and I was pregnant with my 3rd child at the time. So when it all came to a head, I was already about 5 months pregnant. I was told that I had a tumor growing along with the baby, and things were not looking very good. Once she was born, we thought all the problems would go away, but things really began to compound, and how these things affected her as she was developing were very disturbing and just a lot for a young mom to be able to take in. People that know me back then, we have a few long-term wellness warriors who are listening today and have seen me through some of these more difficult times in my life when I was just grasping for research and trying to share it with everybody I knew, anyone who was about to have a baby or already did have a baby. I was really trying to put this information into the hands of other people so that they would not suffer the same cause and effect of today's environment that we experienced. But before you say that detoxing is not for you, that you don't have a sprinkler system, or you're not using fertilizer on it, which I don't recommend unless it's organic, I want to talk today about the state of our environment. But mostly we've come together to talk about Restoriix and how it was created by sourcing the most powerful blend of functional superfoods and combining them with the purest available, extremely rare, because of their negatively charged alkaline earth minerals, which produces a uniquely potent detox synergy. What is so unique about our combination is that it actually nourishes as it purifies your body. So today I'm going to discuss why each of these nutrients was included in the formula and why I love each one of these ingredients for what they uniquely have to contribute. We're going to start with a little bit of history on each ingredient and how they've been used in the past as part of nutritional healing protocols. But first, a little bit of a background on the state of our world today and why everyone absolutely needs to detox. So toxins from our air, water, and food accumulate in our colon and digestive organs, and these attack the body, causing inflammation and premature signs of aging. If you add insult to injury with synthetic personal care products, if you have mercury dental fillings, if you take synthetic medications or rely on convenience foods to get you through a busy life, you actually have a bombardment of toxic overload. Quantities of toxins are in your body which eliminative organs were simply not designed to handle. And this causes dangerously serious side effects, not only for people who are older, but also for people who are younger. And first, I want to talk to that younger crowd who has their childbearing years ahead of them, because this is something that is so near and dear to my heart. A lot of times we just think, oh yeah, they're old people. They already have problems. They have labels. They have diagnoses. Of course they need a detox. And when we still haven't had wrinkles form or age spots or things like that, we tend to think that we're still a little bit invincible. But what we're learning today is that the toxins that are in our environment accumulate in our bodies, mutate our DNA, and we actually pass on our toxic metal stores, viruses, all kinds of pathogens and unwanted substances to our unborn children. Now, I just want to point out that here we are in 2012 at the release of Restoriix, but looking back, it's been 15 years since an article was first published in the Journal of Biological Trace Elements. The research was posted 15 years ago detailing the levels of mercury in the livers born to babies of mothers with mercury amalgam fillings, and that breastfeeding deposited even more mercury into the baby's kidneys. This is just one example of the toxins in our environment that accumulate throughout our lives, especially in the moms. These things accumulate on the surface of the uterus and become the placenta that nourishes the baby. So your DNA, while you might have good teeth and great genes, if you have not detoxed effectively, your baby is not going to have the same DNA that you had, because the DNA has been mutated and altered by the environment today. So what I would recommend, just as a side note, safely removing mercury fillings by a qualified biological dentist and detoxing for a year prior to conception is the safest route to creating the healthiest life possible in our toxic world today. So let's talk about some other times when detoxing is also vitally important. During a weight loss program, you might be doing all kinds of healthy lifestyle things, eating less, exercising more, drinking water, getting to bed on time, and thinking, man, I cannot lose weight. I just must genetically be fat. Yeah, it's just there's something wrong with me. I can't. Well, the something that's wrong is your body is toxic and overloaded with unwanted substances that need to be escorted out. When we burn fat, the toxins that have been stored in our fat tissue are now homeless. Once you burn up those fat cells, they no longer are harnessing or giving home to those toxins, and they become little wanderers floating around your body trying to find a new home. And when they get redeposited, they might not be redeposited in a place as safe as they were when they were kind of triaged away. The body works very hard to try to protect the core vital organs, and it shuttles toxins away and kind of tries to hide them in the fat stores. So when you burn up fat stores, you're thinking, yay me, I've been great. You hit the scale, you see the numbers going down, awesome, but you feel terrible, and you wonder why. Is it because you weren't designed to be thin? No. It's because you have toxins that have been freed up from the stored fat, and now they're homeless, and you need a way to escort them out of the body through your digestive tract so you don't reabsorb them. The brain, as a side note, is 70% fat. So if you have toxins moving around your body, they like to find fat to hide out in. And neural sheathing is made up of fat. Nervous system tissue is encapsulated with a little layer of fat that helps to transmit signals throughout the body. We don't want these toxins from our wonderful weight loss program and all this effort that you're putting into having a healthier lifestyle to free up toxins that are going to make you even feel sicker or get deposited maybe in the brain tissue, because 70% of your brain is fat. That's a very likely place for toxins to be redeposited. So we don't want that. So definitely implementing Restoriix when you are going to start a weight loss program is really helpful. And some of the other benefits that we're going to talk about as we get into the individual ingredients are we can often have weight loss plateaus because we are so toxic. The body gets too acidic. There's a very careful balance when we're trying to eat more protein, because we know more protein protects lean muscle stores, nourishes tissue. But then again, animal proteins that are commercially raised and injected with hormones and have been eating food that's laced with pesticides, that animal's lifetime supply of pesticide sprayed lettuce or grass or whatever, soy, genetically modified ingredients, if you're eating commercially raised meats, they are a toxic storehouse of all kinds of bad things. So if you're a meat eater, I would recommend avoiding the toxins that are coming into your body through commercially raised meat, which is raised on genetically modified grains and soy, and look for things that are pasture raised that don't have that toxic burden coming in as we try to nourish and sustain our lean muscle tissue with lots of protein. So that careful balance of putting in enough protein and balancing it with enough green foods, too much protein and we have too much acid in our bodies, and we don't have that wonderful alkaline homeostasis. So fast track to fabulous, put the Restoriix in, and it helps to bring us back towards that ideal alkaline balance. So, okay, so let's talk about other factors in our world today besides being born that contribute for our need to detox. So air, water, and food. Even if we try to make the very best choices, we're all breathing. We can't walk around with a personal air source. In the air today, we all breathe in toxins in the form of air pollution. Vaporized metal particulate from incinerators, smokestack smoke. Often we find ourselves in situations where we're breathing in cadmium from secondhand smoke. When I see the news and I see shots, I thought it started with, all the bird flu and all that. People started wearing a lot of masks over in Asia, but talking to people that travel there frequently, a lot of people are wearing masks just because of how you can see the pollutants in the air in certain environments in big city-type areas, and we breathe those things in, and they contaminate our lungs, which are like the leaching field of our bodies. But breathing that stuff in, our body has to work really, really hard to detoxify it, and we need some support. So the water. Really frightening today is the water supply. There is no purification system in place today. Never, anywhere. There isn't one. It hasn't been developed yet. Hopefully some smart person will come out with one soon and save us all. But right now, there is no purification system today that filters out the hormones that are excreted from all of the millions of people who've been using birth control pills for the last 50 years. So just isolating that one source of hormonal contamination, the synthetic hormones in birth control pills are excreted through the urine. They get flushed out into the lakes and streams, and they get to higher and higher concentrations with every pass through our so-called purification plants. They become more concentrated. So these synthetic hormones are called xenoestrogens. They are one of the leading contributors to hormone-related cancers today, such as prostate, breast, ovarian cancers. We all know probably more than enough people to fit on all of our fingers and toes that have had one of those diagnoses, and it's quite prevalent, extremely sad, and we need to do everything we can to try to control those xenoestrogens from coming into our bodies. So another source of xenoestrogens from water is from drinking out of those crinkly, crunchy plastic water bottles. You can actually taste the plastic in the water. Not a good sign. But that crinkly, crunchy plastic is made, it has BPA in it to keep it flexible so that if you drop it on the floor, it doesn't shatter and the water leak out everywhere. But that flexibility comes with a price, and it is a very toxic hormone disruptor. BPA is bisphenol A. And other ways that we get that in our food is microwaving things in plastic containers. That transmits the xenoestrogens, or those fake estrogens, from the plastics into our food. And if that food happened to come out of a can, it might have also been laced with metals, unless it was an organic can and it states that it was lined with a BPA-free lining. Right about now, if you are new to being proactive about your health, all this information may be leaving you feel like you can't eat, drink, or breathe safely. And it's true, you can't. We live in a very toxic environment today, and if you're not proactive, it takes a huge toll on our quality of life. A congested, toxic system can leave you feeling sluggish and foggy with no energy. Your cells are working so hard to process all this bad stuff, and we aren't giving ourselves nearly enough nutrients, antioxidants, clean proteins, green foods, and that results in bodies that are overweight yet undernourished. Sometimes it looks like stomach problems like reflux or digestive irregularity, such as constipation and diarrhea, or alternating both, uncontrolled food cravings, fluctuation in blood sugar, weakened immune systems and autoimmune diseases, decreased joint mobility, slower reaction time, whether you're driving a car or trying to perform athletically, decreased athletic recovery. A congested, toxic system will leave you trying to remember if you have ever had skin that glowed, a spring in your step, or a memory recall, not exactly living a life of vitality that we're striving for when we eat less, exercise more, drink our body weight in fluid ounces of pure, clean water, and get a good night's sleep. What more can we do? We can use Restoriix. You can get even more benefits from your healthy lifestyle when you detox your body first with Restoriix. When our eliminative organs like the liver, kidneys, and colon are nourished and clean, the bloodstream has a higher capacity to transport oxygen and nutrients into the cells, which is where the healing process begins. If your body needs a detox, your digestive tract is coated with a layer of putrefied, undigested particles and a biofilm layer that harbors viruses, yeast, and other unwanted substances, which means that your absorptive surface in the lining of your stomach and digestive tract is smothered with all of these toxins, and you may not be getting any benefit from your supplements at all. They might come in, they might completely disintegrate, and they might go out, but they're not able to pass through the surface of your digestive tract and get into the bloodstream because your digestive tract is so coated with junk. So you might only be experiencing a limited absorption of your healthy food choices and your supplements because your digestive tract is toxic and congested. So this results in a body that is full of cells that are overworked and undernourished. But Ariix's Restoriix is a unique blend. This formula was designed to nourish cells and purify the system with willow bark charcoal, ginger, apple pectin, and our exclusive blend of Austrian zeolites and functional green superfoods and chia seeds. So first I'm going to talk, what is a zeolite? That's not a word that you hear every day, unless you're hanging out with me, because I love zeolites and I've been using them for 10 years now, and I think they're wonderful. But Deanna, leave it to Deanna, has found Austrian nanoparticled zeolite, which is the best of the best kind of zeolite you could ever hope for or even imagine. And it is cleansed down to the nanoparticle level. And the fact that it's these little teensy tiny nanoparticles also means that our formula has an extremely smooth mouthfeel. A lot of times when I've done these before, they're kind of chalky and, when they're not nanoparticles, you can feel them in your mouth. This is extremely smooth because they're so tiny. And it also increases the surface area so that if you took, a nugget of whole zeolite versus the same weight of nanoparticled zeolite, we'd have zillions more absorptive surface area to pull in toxins so that the detox power is even greater just because we have these ultra fine particles. So we get so much more benefit out of our ultra cleansed nanoparticled zeolite from Austria. So what is a zeolite? Zeolite is a natural mineral. It forms from the chemical reaction that results from molten volcanic lava meeting mineral-rich seawater. This results in a compound of about 60 to 70%, depending on the zeolite source, of pure trace minerals in their natural oxide forms. The strong electromagnetic charge of the zeolite gives it a powerful vacuum-like ability to capture positively charged viruses, bacteria, mold, yeast, infections, all kinds of poisons within the body. All of those bad things have a positive charge. A little confusing there because it's positively charged, but they're bad. So what makes the zeolite rare is not that it's a mineral, because there's lots of minerals out there, but the fact that it's a mineral that is negatively charged. And you know from playing with magnets as a kid, you've got to have a positive and a negative in order for them to click together. That's what happens with zeolites. They come into the body, they click together with all of the positively charged unwanted substances. And the other thing that is really phenomenal about zeolite is that it also has a honeycomb-like structure, which allows these things to be pulled inside and carried away. So zeolite also has a natural alkalinity of 9.7 on the pH scale. So it can quickly neutralize acid conditions and bring balance back, drawing blood flow, oxygen, circulation needed for cellular repair. You can read more about the healing properties of zeolite and how to jumpstart your day with living clay, or the history. You can read a little bit more history about zeolites in The Clay Cure, Natural Healing from the Earth by Ran Nishinsky. Ran Nishinsky, that begins with a K, K-N. Ran Nishinsky has written a book. Wonderful little treasure trove of the history. You can read about the historic uses by indigenous tribes who've used zeolite since before recorded history. Their medicine men have used it for healing and nourishment, both topically and internally, whether it be by drawing out poison from a snake or an insect bite, or healing wounds, to aid in nausea from pregnancy or other conditions. There are many historical references for the healing properties of this ancient natural secret mineral. The double detox power of zeolite not only neutralizes systemic acid by powerfully elevating pH to beneficial alkaline levels, but the negatively charged mineral attracts these systemic impurities. Some of these could be food preservatives, synthetic medications, plastic residues, like me, fertilizer residues, which contains a ton of heavy metals, pesticide residues, just all kinds of stuff, viruses, bacteria, parasites, all kinds of things that are in the environment today. Zeolite's unique cellular structure has those vacancies. They're honeycomb-like vacancies, which draw impurities within itself, preventing the reabsorption of toxins as they exit the body through the normal digestive action. Not all zeolites are created equal, and we can only depend on Deanna to search the far corners of the earth to find the most carefully mined zeolite available. And again, it's cleansed from typical environment contaminations. Typically of a concern with earth-sourced minerals is other things that naturally occur in the earth, like lead. We can be assured, because of the astringent standards that we rely on Deanna for, to really hold that flag high of ultra purity, and I am giving her the title of the original wellness warrior, which to me is really giving away a lot. But Ariix's zeolite is ultra pure and sized to nanoparticles for increased surface area, adhesion of the free radicals, toxins, as well as providing a nice, smooth, and palatable texture. So 2 words, remember, with zeolites: magnetic sponge. 2 things. If that's all you remember, magnetic sponge. Now on to the functional superfoods. Green power that we get from the functional superfood blend of organic spirulina, chlorella, and chlorophyll. These powerful superfood gifts from the waters. Spirulina is a blue-green algae, rich in chlorophyll, and these green things are powerful blood oxygenators and purifiers. Scientists have observed ocean mammals like dolphins have no visible signs of aging and attributed this to their diet of chlorophyll-rich plant foods, which are high in RNA proteins. And these RNA proteins are known to repair damaged DNA. And of course, aging happens when damaged cells reproduce. So, chlorella, superstar of RNA proteins. For as long as back to the 50s and 70s, 1950 to 1970, anti-aging medicine specialists have studied the effects of RNA proteins on healing the DNA. And I've looked at charts when I was trying to find the most awesome foods for healing so that I could be sure that everything I put in my body was counting for the best level of nutrition and repair possibility while I was trying to heal myself and my daughter. And I landed on chlorella. Chlorella is the highest known source of RNA protein. On the RNA scale, chlorella, for 100 grams, which is a standard serving of protein it's about 3 ounces, when you're looking at a low glycemic diet or putting together a perfect plate of food, a serving of protein is about 3 ounces, depending on your size. So 100 grams or about 3 ounces of chlorella gives 1,280 milligrams of RNA proteins. Now, just to give you an idea of how amazing that is, that the protein content of chlorella is so high and that it's a green thing. So it, again, oxygenates, purifies, all at the same time is giving you some blood sugar stabilizing protein along with the detoxing power of those green things. But chlorella at 1,280, anything else pales in comparison. And when we think of other sources of healthy protein, I would say wild salmon. We know wild salmon is a superfood superstar. It's got tons of protein as long as it's wild and not farm raised. It's very anti-inflammatory. It's a wonderful, rich source of protein. But on the RNA scale, the RNA healing your DNA proteins, it has less than 200 for the same size serving. The other foods in between there that would be higher than salmon, first of all, any kind of animal protein is less than 100. Fish are kind of in the between 1 and 200 category per serving, and then we have sardines, which are kind of a superhero. But I can tell you, I've never had anybody that's come into me for a consultation that has said, well, I eat really healthy and I eat sardines every day. Not a lot of people are eating that. However, again, if they're wild source sardines, I think they're a great part of a healing regimen. But to give you an idea of the prevalence of RNA proteins that have the capacity to heal DNA in our diet, they're just very rare. And chlorella is by far, 6 times higher in RNA proteins, ounce for ounce, compared to any other type of protein on the planet. So chlorella is a healing superfood. Okay, so this powerful combination of greens supports detox pathways, and it assists the eliminative organs to purify the bloodstream, the liver, the bowels, and it also has that raising of the pH, that bringing us to a more alkaline status, which counterbalances stress and the effects of less desirable food choices. Next superstar ingredient are chia seeds. Chia seeds are one of my most favorite foods in the whole world. Historically, the ancient Aztecs fed this superfood to their athletes and believed that it gave them supernatural strength and power. And today, these tiny seeds have been called nature's perfect food because they naturally contain the perfect blend of protein, fiber, and anti-inflammatory omega-3 fats. So all these components are the hallmarks of the low glycemic diet. They're necessary components to fuel the body for peak performance, hormonal balance, and to reduce inflammatory conditions within the body, which typically contribute to premature aging and disease. So step 1, that low glycemic diet, combining the protein, omega-3 fats, and fiber all together in this one tiny seed. And it has tons of other nutrients in it too. It has over 30 different nutrients within each seed. But unique about the protein in chia seeds, it is the only vegan source of protein that has all the amino acids necessary to nourish and sustain healthy muscle tissue. Chia seeds have been called a nutritional gold mine because of all the nutrients that are packed into every little tiny seed. And 35% fiber by weight, just a few ounces of chia seeds contain as much fiber as 5.5 cups of whole wheat cereal, but with no allergen concerns that tax the immune system like gluten does for so many people that don't even know that it is really not being their friend. Chia seeds have a blend of insoluble fiber to scrub the intestinal walls and loosen debris, and it's balanced with soluble fiber, which absorbs toxic substances. The chia seed absorbs up to 12 times its weight in fluids, which is actually twice the fiber power of flax seeds. So another thing I wanted to mention about chia seeds is they have 8 times more inflammatory omega-3s than fresh wild salmon. Now, I love salmon, but 8 times more in something that's really portable. I can take these with me on an airplane. I can take this Restoriix with me and supercharge my drinking water to help, neutralize some of those less desirable food choices that we're always faced with when we travel. But our cells crave anti-inflammatory fat found in the omega-3s just for basic structural integrity. And if you don't have these fats in your diet, your body will substitute with whatever fat is available. So taking in omega-3s from chia seeds helps to satisfy that craving for structural fat from omega-3s. And when we make the shifts towards these nutrient substitutions, it helps with setting the stage for optimal healing and repair. And aging and eventually disease gets supported, and our body's pathways, our natural, the innate ability of the body as it was created to heal itself is supported, and those pathways are supported and opened up when we nourish the cells and open up those doors so that that nourishment can actually get inside the cells. So unique thing, too, about the chia seeds is that they are just a powerhouse of antioxidants and minerals. And because they're so extremely high in natural antioxidants, they have kind of nature's preservative built right into them. And that's what makes these a superior form of omega-3s to flax seeds, which are known to oxidize very quickly. And we need the portability of the omega-3s protected by the antioxidants in order for it to be shelf stable. So 3 times more antioxidants than blueberries. These natural antioxidants protect the delicate omega-3s from being turned into free radicals. And when we have lots of those extra omega-3s, it is a very natural anti-inflammatory effect. The omega-3s are on muscle and nerve tissue. So just as a side note, chia seeds also contain 5 times the calcium of milk and 13 times the magnesium of broccoli. You'd have to eat 3 pounds of broccoli to get the equivalent value of magnesium from a single serving of chia. And also, as far as just kind of a throwback to the American lifestyle, we have so many people that come complaining about cravings, and they're making healthy choices, but they never feel full. And that's because, again, the cells are just undernourished. Either you're not putting enough stuff in to nourish the body, or when you first make the shift towards healthier eating, you feel hungry all the time because your absorptive surface is clogged up. It needs to have like a chemical peel on the inside of your body. Picture what a chemical peel does to your skin on the outside. That's kind of a visual aid of what I'm trying to describe. Needs to happen to unclog the putrefied debris that lines the digestive tract through just natural process of growing up and aging in our environment today. So when the body's nutrient levels are replenished, cravings are satisfied, the organs can upregulate to their optimal level of function. And what I recommend is first cleanse, then nourish, and you will thrive. Restoriix is step 1. So how do we use Restoriix? First thing in the morning on an empty stomach, mix 1 scoop with 8 ounces of pure water. Now, I'd recommend doing it in a glass because we know that these zeolite particles have a real affinity to draw to metal. So you don't ever want to drink it out of metal or, say, stir it with a metal spoon because we know that these zeolite particles really are attracted to metal. You don't want to pull metal from the spoon into your drink. And we want to save all that magnetic capacity for what it will do for your body once it gets to the inside and use its drawing capacity to draw stuff that is already stored up in your body. So use a glass. I think the ideal way to mix this is to use a bamboo whisk like you'd use to whisk green tea matcha. That would be the perfect way to blend. The other thing you could do is to use a shaker bottle. Make sure it's a BPA-free plastic and that it does not have a metal mixing ball inside it. We want to save all that magnetic drawing power for what it's going to do when it gets inside your body. So if you are very, very healthy, which I can tell you everybody that comes to me for a consultation says, oh, I'm very, very healthy. I eat salad several times a week. I drink lots of water, and I go for a walk 3 times a week. I'm really healthy. And those things are wonderful, and those are a great place to start. But I would recommend, unless you are eating 75% of every plate of food that you eat is green, detoxifying, organic superfoods, and you're eating that, 3 or 4 times a day, you're not getting enough nutrients. Restoriix is a wonderful way with a powerful punch of green superfoods to up the ratio of green things in your diet. I can tell you that mostly everybody I see does not eat enough green food, and that is the number one place to start with making healthier choices on their ideal plate. So Restoriix is a great way. If you're kind of having a hard time transitioning away from convenience foods, you might need to take Restoriix with every single meal because you're not ready to eat 2 cups of broccoli or 4 cups of organic baby spinach. You're not ready for that transition. And this formula is nearly tasteless. I actually really enjoy the formula the way that it is. It barely has any taste at all, but I think it's even more delicious when I take a half of a fresh lemon and squeeze the lemon in there. I really like the zip, and the lemon, of course, gives a little bit more alkalinity. But I put lemon in everything I eat and drink and everything. I just love the pH boost and the cleansing properties of natural lemon. But anyway, if you're seriously ill or if you've never detoxed before, if you don't remember when the last time was that you ate a green vegetable, you might need to take Restoriix 2 to 3 times a day to get your groove back quickly. So I would say first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, quickly whisk it up with about 8 ounces of water. And then you could try doing it, say, mid-afternoon when we tend to have kind of that energy slump when we're first trying to recover from a lifestyle of convenience foods. Anticipate that energy slump by taking your Restoriix about 2 hours after lunch, and you will notice that it helps to give you a sense of vitality and energy, and you'll feel, just the effects of your cells being energized from all those wonderful green things and the zeolites in there. So anyway, the beautiful PowerPoint presentation that you see before you is actually a postcard that has been produced by Rick Billings. And if you have been struggling to keep up with taking notes, you will be relieved to know that you will have all these pertinent facts on a beautiful half-sheet glossy card to share with your friends and loved ones who may be suffering from symptoms of a congested and toxic system. In order to purchase Restoriix at the very best pricing, please contact the person who invited you to learn how to get Restoriix at a discount. And if you would like to order these postcards, you can go to globalsuccessleaders.com/Rick Billings to order the postcards. Again, it has all these pertinent facts. It has the medical journal articles at the bottom that talk about why these ingredients were chosen based on the research that is in those articles. So I just want to wish everybody a happy spring cleaning. Start on the inside. and cleanse, nourish, and thrive with Restoriix. And I hope this is your best year ever. Take care, everybody, and thanks for joining us today.